Would you just agree in general? It's It doesn't come back down in a useful form. And you can also use it. Yeah. You can do a lot more. Probably a lot more better consultation. I understand the attendance board is really not. I don't even know if it exists, which is unfortunate, I think, in some respects.
Is that nice enough?
That's what I found. I kind of felt that we were, the hearings that I did over my 10 years, we were probably about 60% different.
Thank you.
But that 60% turned out to signing thousands of listeners.
I bet, yeah. There used to be a word, his name was Abdul Dermot, and it was like a big A and a little smaller A, and then
If any order that is deemed reasonable, well, that gives you a lot of leeway. Usually a weakness, usually a weakness is the side of the house. So, homeless will put it who's running this? And I remember Kurt Moore in the country turned around and said to the principal, okay, Mom says, well, cell phone radio calls. But anyway, but I thought it was good. 10 years was long enough. My job. high school. I wasn't into the discussion. Whereas now, it's a very defensive issue for a lot of parents. And that can make it much harder because it's not kids go on the same wavelength. I'm trying to back off a little bit. Wayne is back. Stuff to do. I don't think it will be 81 minutes. No, every day is a great day. So that's why we're not planning on moving or anything. event center group in Ottawa, their new headquarters in Ottawa. And so he didn't have any involvement. He was on retirement leave. But anyway, how you doing?
Not bad, thank you. How busy? Just like the that's not touch very needed a lot of work. Because I've come to this in the last couple of years since I was elected to Alberta, and I used to walk to St. Albert and say, well, this is the district we're in. And I said, I got an email from the town clerk. Well, I was invited and I'm interested, I'm here. That's a long time.
And then, yes, we'll see you Monday. Yeah, 5:20. No, I'll be there, and I think Lori Winder is going to be there. So we'll have a little greeting, and it's going to be fun. Okay. Great, thank you.
You're being streamed now.
Yeah, I was teaching a workshop and Marilyn was in there. Not here, no. I think 360, I was at their next event recently. And I was able to work with them there and again meet a bunch of fantastic people. Everyone I'm running into has just got outstanding experience. I told her the lead story like 50 times. Oh, you want to go build playgrounds? And I know the guy. Yeah.
That's where I joined. Part of that organization. You can't do that on your own.
No.
I actually mentioned it on the website. So you can't do this on your own.
It's true because financially you can't do it. Resources you got it. My son graduated.
Thank you so much to Tracey and the music makers for that lovely music we've been enjoying for the past hour. Thank you so much. If you would please try to find your seats, we will be starting in about 3 minutes. Thank you. If everyone can find their seats, we're going to begin in 1 minute. Joining us on stage will be a quartet from the University of Concordia, who will be leading us in 4-part harmony in O Canada.
In our
Thank you, Concordians. Now, I have never heard Rotarians sing "O Canada" quite as well. That was amazing. That was amazing. Well, my name is Linda Robertson, and I'm going to be your MC for this evening. Many of you know me as a past district governor from 1415, way long back there. Tonight's one of my favorite nights. It's the 4th annual awards and District Governor move along. It's such a fascinating evening to be here because we've never had one that's been quite this close to the end of the year. Like there's only 3 days. And I can feel relief in the room, and I can feel, thank goodness, you know, it's coming to an end. I can see some hands waving. And then I can also feel, you know, the excitement and the anticipation and the butterflies. So there's just so much energy that we have in here. And the main purpose, of course, of tonight is to celebrate all that has happened this past year and to look forward to what's happening next year. But you know, in Rotary, there is no ending and there isn't a beginning. Those of you that are Rotarians, if you look at the pin that you're wearing, it's a wheel. And wheels don't stop and start. Wheels keep turning. And our Rotary work just keeps turning. Sometimes we turn in a different direction, and sometimes we go faster, and sometimes we go slower. But I tell you, it's not ending. It's not ending. So we have so much to look forward to, and we've come so far. And tonight's just a night to celebrate and look at how we're going to make all those new connections after we've done all the inspiring things we've done this year. There are a few Rotary protocols that we must do before we're allowed to go to the buffet. And that's to recognize, first of all, District Governor Ingrid Neitsch and Clive. District Governor-elect Tracey Vavrek and Vince. District Governor nominee Jim Ferguson and Jocelyn. And District Governor nominee designate Donna Barrett and Bruce. And then we have several past district governors, and I'm thrilled with the number of past district governors we have in the room tonight. So I'll ask them, I'll introduce them, ask them to stand, and then you can give them a round of applause at the end. Greg Reitz, immediate past district governor. Laura Morey, Tim Shields and Sally, Betty Skrepnik and George, Jackie Hobel and Wayne, Ross Tyson and Brenda, Julius Buski and Noni, Dan Graham and Carol, and Albert Miller and Florence. Thank you all for being here.
And Katie Brown.
Now, I can't recognize everybody, because if I did, we'd be here all night and all of you would end up standing. But I would like... I'm sorry? Oh, Judy Brown. I had you on the list. How did I skip over Judy Brown? I'm sorry, Ron. And we even chatted here for a few minutes. But you know, it's better to be recognized like that. Everybody will remember I forgot Judy. Thank you, Rini, for reminding me. I'd now like all the current assistant governors and the incoming assistant governors to stand. We have lots of those there. Lots of them. Thank you. And I'm also going to ask the current board and the incoming board to stand. There must be several of those individuals in the room. Just the chair.
chairs. I don't know, I'm a newbie.
Before inviting past District Governor Frank for invocation, I wanted to recognize that last Friday was National Indigenous Day in Canada, and many communities celebrated that, and I'm sure some of you were there. Our district is located, believe it or not, in 3 treaty areas. We're in Treaty 6 here, our northern clubs are Treaty 8, and now that we're having a new club in the Yukon, in Whitehorse, we will also be on Treaty 11 land. And that's just such a great opportunity for us to connect to those communities and continue our Rotary work. Now, Frank, I'd like to ask you for invocation.
Thank you, Linda. In a world where conflict often appears to be the way of life, we give thanks that as Rotarians, we can reach across many borders to offer comfort, counsel, and service to those in need. As we lift our voices in prayer, we give thanks that we have the ability to offer our time, our talents, and our fortunes to serve our neighboring men and women. Thus, in one accord, we join in fellowship and ask that this food nourish us and help us to better fulfill our commitment to service above self. Amen.
Thank you, Frank. We'll now begin dinner service, and Renee will lead us to the tables.
Italy.
Oh yeah, sounds good. I'm so glad it's just getting moving, but I think the format's the right one to get a lot of people. Oh, you do? What are some of your favorites? Oh, good.
Here's luckily my switcher was the great one after the others.
I'll bring a guitar. I can know about 4 songs.
I will be. I see that some have started to the dessert table, so whenever you wish, please just get up and go to the dessert table because that's where the good things are.
Hello.
I saw my meeting orders.
Yes, I responded. I said it would be there.
I have a volunteer. Great.
Okay.
Basically said, there's a Joe. You can see what it is.
I saw something like that. I saw something like that. Yeah.
Charlie's like, oh, so you're going to be relatives now. Well, that's where he's living now. Okay. Because somebody kind of kicked him out and then, the boys. Not general.
All hell broke loose and you thought your life was over and you were never going home?
They shut down the city. They gave everyone free subway pass home. Wow. And it was just
Of course, because we didn't know what the hell was going on.
nobody knew what was going on. Like, nobody knew. Are they going to attack us next? It's scary.
What a great experience. I love visiting my sister. My niece is there. And getting to walk around the harbor, see that one of the interesting things is a guy on roller skates with an amplifier on his back and listening to the song. No shirt.
What a job! What a job!
that why people keep telling her congratulations?
Can you imagine? She's like Rotary Mafia. Once you're in, then you don't have a choice, right?
Luck out.
So that Yukon vote was a big deal.
Annexation. Next to Yukon.
Oh, interesting. Right. Would it be 2002? It is down south, sure.
If you haven't got up and gone for your dessert yet, please do that right away, because in a few minutes we're going to begin the program.
one night. It was, I was driving, I don't know, it must have been something like an
It's working so hard, and I got an extension for it. So you only get.
Let's find out.
Let's look at you.
Yeah, I'd prefer one over there.
Excuse me, it's time to quiet the room and gently come back to your seats because we're going to begin the program. And at this time, I would like to call forward Jackie Hobel. Jackie is past district governor, and she is going to introduce our current district governor.
So, good evening, everybody. What a privilege to be here. Governor Ingrid, Clive. I won't introduce and welcome the other dignitaries in the room. But I do want to do a shout out to the Rotaractors and the Interactors that walked in a little bit later. If you are in Rotaract, would you stand up, give us a wave? We're so happy to have you here tonight, and I know Ingrid is. And I know this has been one of the highlights of our Rotary year in 2018-2019 was that the Council on Legislation actually approved an amendment that Rotaractors would be considered Rotarians. So we're pretty So I'm delighted to I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce and thank our Governor Ingrid. But before we talk about Ingrid, I'd like to do a shout out to Clyde, who has helped. Stand up, Clyde. Clyde has helped Ingrid navigate her way around our vast district. 57 plus clubs. I know she went to clubs multiple times. Numerous Rotaract, Interact gatherings, plus many, many special events, which she will highlight, I'm sure, in her comments. Clyde, we're really proud of you. You joined our cause. Congratulations, thank you. We thank you, Rotary thanks you. So I'd like to share some personal reflections on how this journey started for Ingrid. As Rotarians, we know that often new beginnings start with a phone call or a tap on the shoulder. In the fall of 2015, I received a call from Fred Kraft, then president of the Rotary Club of Edmonton West, Ingrid's club. I knew Fred as we had spent some time with he and his wife Susan in Sao Paulo, Brazil at the International Convention. I think you were there, Linda, as well. Fred asked me to consider how we might use Ingrid's talents. You see, Ingrid had just completed a very successful year as club president, and he recognized that she had so much to offer our organization, and would I suggest a role for her to work at the district level. Now, I did know Ingrid. Ingrid began a very successful career in education at Elmwood School in the early 1970s. Okay, I just happened to be on staff at the same time. I'll help you out, we're both in the back row. That's as far as we're going. My one memory of Ingrid from those days was the giant teepee that she had erected in the middle of her grade 3 classroom. Ingrid distinguished herself as a teacher using the best strategies for teaching, learning, and engagement. It was clear that teaching for Ingrid was beyond the textbook and the workbook. She was establishing a path for herself which involved excellence on many levels in her profession and vocation. Our careers in Edmonton Public ran parallel, and we both completed graduate studies, served as consultants and school administrators. We both have 2 children, but Ingrid has had hers at one time. Twins. And I think the family's here tonight minus one, right? Ingrid was the first female principal of Edmonton's largest one of Edmonton's largest high school, and Western Canada's largest performing arts school. We know of Ingrid's passion for the arts, and she has certainly brought this passion into hers and our Rotary world. Thank you, Ingrid. I've known Ingrid through her distinguished career, as many in this room have. Past District Governor Ross, Sherry, her sponsor Jennifer Lawley, who sends her regards, Donna Barrett, and many more who worked with Edmonton Public. Now let me get back to Fred's call. Where could we use somebody with Ingrid's talents and proven leadership capabilities? That led me to chat with DG Tim Shields. We both saw the need in membership development. Because of my role in Zone, I was able to include Ingrid in a membership forum in Dallas, Texas, November 2015. It was at this event that I reported back to DG Tim that Ingrid drank the Rotary Kool-Aid. We were both so inspired at this event and met some personalities such as Mitty Chang, who Ingrid immediately brought into the district and has been all over our zone. Spending time with Ingrid was such a great opportunity to reconnect and convince her to apply for the posting for District Governor 2018-2019, which came out when we were in Dallas. She was ready. Ingrid had and has the passion for Rotary's boundless possibilities. The rest is history. What a year we have had. Ingrid's vocation and vision prepared her for her role to lead 2,500 plus Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, youth, as well as her many classmates throughout the Rotary world who consider Ingrid a leader. Check out the timeline on her Facebook page, alerts, newsletters, blogs, which are testament to her vision and enthusiastic support of clubs as she celebrated each club, each Rotarian along the way. Now, Ingrid hasn't mentioned this tonight, but I'd like you to look at your centerpieces because we really do have a theme happening here. Thank you, Donna Nichols. But before I talk about the theme, I must introduce our Rotary International President, Barry Rassin and Esther. Early in Barry Rassin's term as president, he challenged all of us to be the inspiration. Ingrid rose to this challenge. Barry and Esther were introduced to us in Rotary in the Rotarian magazine. He shared a photo of his home and the flamingos, which are plentiful in the Bahamas. A flock of pink flamingos on the cover. Of interest to President Barry was the flamingo that chose to head in a slightly different direction. Thus he launched a theme which was embraced by his governors and Governor Ingrid. He challenged his governors to be flamingos of change. And it should be no surprise to any of us that Ingrid was nominated by her classmates, 37 district governors from across Canada and the eastern seaboard of the United States, to receive the Flamingo of Change Award in Montreal. Ingrid, we've been so proud of your accomplishments and what you have achieved over the course of this year. Ingrid carried the Canadian flag in her stunning red dress and again was chosen to represent her classmates from across Canada and all of us in District 5370 at the International Assembly in San Diego. What an honor. And now, with gratitude and admiration, I welcome our Governor for 2018-2019 to the stage, Ingrid Neitsch.
Well, thank you. So, my fabulous adventure has reached a grand finale. You know, I view my life
as a beautiful tapestry, and this governor year has embroidered many vibrant, beautiful threads into my life. It has been my honor and my privilege to represent this great district. You know, our theme was Be the Inspiration. So I set out to inspire our members, and guess what? They inspired me. The commitment and the passion that I witnessed firsthand is unforgettable. It will stay with me forever. We have incredibly talented leaders in our district. We have our Council of Governors that have already been introduced. We have our district board, and we have our club presidents and assistant governors. Some of those have already been recognized, but I would like the club presidents, current and incoming, to stand and be recognized, please. Those district leaders, you are the pulse of our district, and we need you. So thank you for all the great work that you've done this year. I want to say some thanks also. I'm going to start with my family. I'd like to say thank you to my son Christopher and Carrie, who are here. My daughter Kirsten and Brian, who live in Houston. And we've already heard about my partner from Jackie. But you know, I want to tell you that in one of the clubs that we visited, somebody said to Clive, "So, who are you?" And he said, "Well, I'm God." And there was a rather stunned look, I would tell you. And he says, "Well, I'm the governor's official driver." So he drove 40,000 kilometers. And the other thing is he listened to all my speeches. I want to say a special thank you to my home club, Edmonton West. That's where I started, and that's my anchor. And we've got a whole group of them here, and I'd like them to stand up. Edmonton West, show yourself. Yes, thank you. Wonderful. And then I want to say thank you to my friends and colleagues. You know, they have listened to me talk about Rotary endlessly at every single social function that we've had. And they have remained supportive and have attended many of my functions. So you know who you are, and I appreciate it. Thank you. And then I want to say a special thank you to my mentors. You know who you are. I appreciate your support and your encouragement this year. And you know, I also appreciate the mentors that pick up the phone when I call unexpectedly. And then I have a couple of people, when I send out a text really late at night, they actually reply. So thank you for that. I think that's one of the amazing benefits of being in Rotary, that we have the opportunity to meet so many different people and to learn from each other. Last June, I stood here and I shared with you my vision for the upcoming year. I outlined some plans. I introduced a new direction and a new vision. And what I'd like to do tonight is I'd like to share some highlights of what we've been able to accomplish. So you might wonder, what is most significant? Well, the very first thing is being able to visit all our 57 clubs and getting to know some of our members more personally. Definitely a highlight. And this is the Edmonton White Avenue Club. And then also attending board meetings, talking about plans and challenges and successes. St. Albert Club, they know how to have a lot of fun even at a board meeting and still get things done. But you know, we have a vast district, and from time to time, there are challenges that arise, conflict arises. And I want to comment today that yes, there were a few situations like that, but I really appreciated the trust and the confidence that we shared with certain individuals to look at solutions that would be beneficial to all. I also enjoyed many of the community events and the tours. and some of them are very unique. So did you know that Lloydminster's Club, they host the Texas 4,000 riders, some young cyclists that come all the way from Dallas on their way to Alaska. And this photo shows an example of us having a gratitude circle early one morning, and I know Jason Whiting was there. Did you know that the Hay River Club sponsors a corporate art attack where businesses pay $500 to enter an arts contest? I was one of the judges. And of course the money goes to the Rotary Club. Did you know that the Dawson Creek clubs organized the parade for the entire community, and it was lots of fun hanging out with President Michelle and some of the members there. Did you know that the Yellowknife Club hosted a Northern Lights vigil that began at midnight? Exactly. You know, in some of our smaller communities, Rotary really is the heart. And in one of those communities is Fort Nelson. When I was up there, it was very evident that it was a community that was struggling with the economy. There was a waiting list for people to rent a U-Haul because they wanted to leave town. That Rotary Club decided that they were going to revive that community. And you know, they have. I've been following them very closely, actually, with some of the activities that they have been able to incorporate into their town. And not only that, they increased their membership and they retained all the members that they received. Another example is in Peace River. That Rotary Club persisted, I think, for 6 or 7 years because they wanted to build a Rotary house for families that needed a place to stay while their loved ones were getting medical treatment. And they finally did it when they partnered with Shell. Vegreville hosted and looks after and maintains one of these beautiful peace parks where people gather in the summer. And then I had tours of walking trails, bike trails, skateboard parks, splash parks, camping parks in all of these areas. And all of these facilities are organized and supported by Rotary, but not just for Rotarians. They actually enhance the entire community. Did you know that our clubs touch the world? Here are some of the examples of some of the countries where our Rotary clubs in our district support projects, and I'm sure there's a few more. At the Rotary International Convention in Hamburg, our international CEO talked about a new survey that they had done. I think it's the Johns Hopkins University students that did it, and they tracked the volunteer hours for Rotary International. 45 million volunteer hours end up being $850 million in 1 year. So think about what the impact that Rotarians have on the economy and our communities. You know, we had outstanding progress this year working together with our district team and our clubs. And we obviously had some goals that I had outlined. And I want to just share a few highlights, but you know that we've actually achieved them and we have evidence of that. So what did we accomplish? Well, we wanted to have an integrated strategic plan, which we did establish, we implemented, and we reviewed it. And another priority was membership. Membership is a priority all across the Rotary world. We had set the goal of establishing 3 new clubs and gaining a net gain of 50 members. So how did we do? Well, we have 1 new Interact Club, W.P. Wagner, sponsored by Edmonton Strathcona. We have 1 new Rotaract Club, sponsored by Edmonton Northeast. It's the Concordia Rotaract Club. Look at all those eager faces. They're going to do great. Then we inducted a brand new satellite club in Dawson Creek, Chetwynd, just a couple of weeks ago. Tracey was there as well, and I think we started with 11 members. They're up to 18 in just a couple of weeks. So good things are happening there. And for the first time in many years, we chartered a brand new Passport Club, the YEG Passport Club. It's a new concept in club structure. Many thanks to President Scott and the Edmonton White Avenue Club, and a shout out to Marilyn Buca, who was a great champion of it. July 1st, our district is going to expand. We're already one of the largest geographical districts in the Rotary world, but as of July 1st, we are going to absorb the Yukon territory. The White Horse Clubs in the Yukon had contacted me sometime early in the year, and we went through a process of how we would redistrict. That has been approved, and July 1st, they will become part of District 5370. So you can see on the map that we would increase to that area. But along with that, we get 2 White Horse Clubs and a just approved satellite clubs. We're actually getting 3 clubs from that move, and we should see about 54 new members come into our district July 1st. I want to say a special mention to the Dawson Creek Club. Marguerite is not here. Michelle is here, so she will share good wishes here. But the Dawson Creek Club increased their membership by 20 members. Amazing work. And she is, so here, Marguerite and Michelle are handing over a new kind of bell to the president of the satellite club. If you can see, it's like a big can, a milk can, and the gavel is like some kind of stop or something. Anyway, new things happening. It's all good. So we certainly have developed and emphasized the value of Rotary membership and engagement, but the ongoing challenge is to keep our members engaged in meaningful projects. And that is a challenge across the world, and I know that we're going to continue to work on that. We also wanted to share some good news about the foundation. And we have a couple of Wayne and Wayne shows that have traveled the district to present information. We want to thank all the clubs that have supported the foundation, and in fact, we have all the clubs who've made a donation to Polio Plus and to the annual fund. And also we have individuals who make special donations, and we have a couple of Arch Club Society members in our audience tonight. And so a special thank you to you. And of course, Wayne Kaufman, our chair, has done an outstanding job, and we are very appreciative. One of our other goals was communication, and you all know that communication in today's society is very, very important. And on the screen, you can see some of the different things that we have incorporated into a communications plan that we created this year. So aside from the Facebook and our blog posts that Jackie already mentioned, our district newsletter, Inspire, goes to every member, not just the president, so everyone gets the same information at the same time. We also have made an awareness this year, a real effort to bring Rotary's message into some of the institutions and organizations that are normally not associated with Rotary, just to spread that good word. We've had good coverage in the Edmonton Journal and also in other community publications across the district. Our leadership learning assemblies have incorporated some ideas of communication and also some interactive sessions, thanks to District Trainer Donna Barrett, who's also going to be our District Governor nominee, and who has a birthday today. So happy birthday. I'm sure you saw, those of you who've looked at the Rotarian, the wonderful 2-page spread about one of our clubs, and it's the Rotary Club of Edmonton West, and their story of the Guatemala I-Mission trip. And on your right there is Dr. Ben Doze, who has traveled there for 22 years, and it started out as a honeymoon. I know. We want to celebrate our youth programs. We have many opportunities for our youth to become involved. We've worked very hard last year and this year to make sure that our youth exchange program is directly aligned with and compliant with Rotary International. Thanks to our youth chair, Tamara, and also past District Governor Laura and the youth committees for their great ongoing work that we have seen. One of my personal passion goals was for us to become a peace builder district. And one of the first criteria was to make a $25,000 US donation to the peace centers. Now, I know some of you know about the peace centers, but not everyone. We have guests in the audience tonight. Peace centers are located around the world, and they offer a course, a 3-month course in a peace and conflict resolution certificate, and a 2 years master's program that is all paid for by Rotary. The individuals need to be sponsored by a district, and they are vetted by Rotary International. We have a scholar right now who's actually studying in Bangkok, and we just interviewed a really strong candidate last week, and thanks to Dean Wood, who is leading that committee. I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled with the support and the strong interest that we received from all our clubs, our district, and members of the public actually, to support our Peace Builder District. And as you can see, we have a banner. We have achieved Peace Builder District status, not just for 1 year, but for 2 years. We are going to continue with our peace building activities. We collaborated with the University of Alberta and Concordia. We had a peace building session open to the public this year, and I've met with the dean, and we are going to continue with some activities for next year. I want to just say a special mention to the district conference that we had. You know, this was a labor of love. More than 2 years of planning, hunting down speakers, some that I had to pursue endlessly, but I didn't give up. Jennifer Jones was one of them. It took me months, but she had a crazy schedule, but we were able to get that done. We had an amazing committee, and we designed a wonderful program, and we had enthusiastic attendees. A great event, and I encourage everyone to sign up and go to our next district conference, which is going to be in Grand Prairie, October 3rd to 5th. We had to find a new office space, so that was unexpected, and thanks to some of our Rotarian leads, we were able to find a place in the Orange Hub, so thanks to our administration chair, Donna, and our office manager, Rini, and others who helped with that move. You know, fellowship is one of the core values of Rotary, and I think it's really important that we continue to support events like our district Foxfield. And that's our Edmonton West Club, and thanks for listening to me talk about Rotary all the way home. Jackie already talked about this. This was a fun thing, and it was, thank you, Jackie, for sharing that. And polio, you know, we are close to eradicating this disease off the face of the earth, 99.9%. Bill Gates has indicated that he's very proud to be a member in this effort with Rotary. We're almost there. We've had a few hiccups this year. We still have Afghanistan and Pakistan to worry about. There was a last-minute appeal from the presidents for some extra funds to be donated to Polio Plus, but I have no doubt that we are going to eradicate this disease. We've had lots of events that help with that, and we appreciate everyone's support to keep that going. We've already heard about the 1,576 steps, over 86 floors, in 16 minutes and 32 seconds. Not bad. One of my favorite events this year actually was the Women in Rotary. This is the 30th year that women were accepted into Rotary, if you can believe that. It's true. And we wanted to celebrate our women leaders and our trailblazers, many that are in the room tonight. And we had a lovely event. Thank you to our committee and all the people that participated and attended. You know, Rotarians are change makers. That was very evident at the International Convention to me. We had inspirational speakers. And when you go to an international convention, you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to sit next to. I see people nodding, yes. So one day, I'm talking to this lady who's sitting next to me, and she tells me that she is the first female governor from Bangladesh. I know. And I said, wow. I said, you know, what is your challenge? What are you doing? And she said, my challenge is for people to accept the fact that I'm a woman leader in my country. Then another day I was leaving a session and I hear somebody yelling, Ingrid, Ingrid, and I turn around, remember there's 25,000 people there. And so I see this mass of people coming and I see somebody waving. And sure enough, it's my classmate, District Governor Ingrid from New Zealand. And we had a lovely little reunion and had a great chance to talk. I urge everyone to think about attending an international convention. You know, we had a district gathering, and we had, I think, 96 people registered to come to Hamburg. And at our gathering at one point in the evening, I counted about 90 people. So I'm going to show you a few of the slides of some of the fun that we had. I hear some groans. Yeah, I know. I was careful. I was careful. Okay, here's the Brooks house. And some of our members there. So our next international convention is in Honolulu. There is going to be a limit on registrations. Already 10,000 people have registered for the early bird in Hamburg. I'm going to be organizing one of the events, the Beyond Borders Dinner, so I urge everyone to sign up early. So now, what else is there left to say? This year has been a grand adventure. Absolutely grand. I hope that you feel that you have been inspired and that you feel that you've inspired others. I'm very sure that our talented incoming governor team will carry forward the momentum that we have created this year. And I'm certain that our district will continue to be a leader at the zone level as we serve and inspire. In the tapestry of life, we're all connected. Each one of us is a gift to those around us, helping each other be who we are, weaving a perfect picture together. My heartfelt thanks for a fabulous year.
Thank you, Ingrid. There is no question that we have been inspired by your leadership, and our district is in wonderful shape. So thank you.
Thank you, Ingrid and Jackie. Wow, Ingrid's been busy, but if she's been that busy, I can't imagine how busy all the clubs have been too. It's been just a great year, just a great year. Well, now it's time for awards, and we're going to begin those right away. And Ingrid will come forward because she's got the awards to do, and I believe her helper tonight is Donna. So while they're getting organized to come up, I wanted to do a shout out to the Chateau Louis Hotel. This is just an amazing facility, and I was in line getting the buffet tonight, and someone said, "This is such a great place. It's so bright, and the room here is so warm, and what a great place to come." And the staff is so accommodating, so thank you all.
It's my pleasure to hand out several awards tonight. And someone famous once said, there are two things that people want more than sex and money. So I bet you're all thinking, I wonder what that is.
Or sex.
No, Spencer. It's recognition and praise. There is more hunger in the world for love and appreciation than there is for bread. That's what Mother Teresa said. And you know, that was a sentiment that was repeated very often in our peace building workshop. That in this era of online communication, it's very easy to be anonymous. And I think it's very important that we take time to appreciate one another. And so tonight, this is how I see our district awards. It's really an appreciation and a celebration of some of the great work that's happened. And then there's the thought, people think, well, you know, if I don't get an award, well, what about me? The way I look at it is that if one member of our Rotary family is appreciated and is awarded, that's a reflection for all of us to be proud and to celebrate. Our Rotary International presidents outlined some expectations for our club presidents. It's called the Presidential Citation. And usually these certificates come out later in the fall. But I know that there are some keen, eager presidents who already know that they are getting the certificate. And so I thought, you know, when we're all together, why not recognize those keeners who've done all this great work? So I would like the presidents who know that they've qualified for the Presidential Citation to stand up and be recognized. Come on. Over there. Very good. We're proud of you. So now we're going to go on to our awards, and we have Riley and Ripen Award, and we acknowledge the clubs that sponsor most students to attend these camps. And so the first one goes to Edmonton Strathcona. So when your name is called, please come forward if you're the president or a representative from that club. Strathcona. Or Stefan. Here you are. And the other one goes to Lloydminster. Congratulations. Great. So award submissions included such a variety of wonderful projects throughout the district that the reviewing committee really had a tough time deciding. And in some of the categories, we decided to just honor some of the difference and the wonderful work that our clubs have done. The first one that we're going to talk about is the public relations and marketing. Producing quality and professional promotional activities for a variety of brochures and posters and videos to publicize events and Rotary awareness. This extraordinary work was done by the Rotary Club of St. Albert. Yeah, when you hear your name come up, and Mrs. Lynn coming forward. The production of a quality club brochure and use of social media to share success stories and promote events increase the public image and visibility of the Rotary Club of Edmonton White Avenue. Undertaking a comprehensive strategic planning initiative to study how they were living out the vision and mission of their club, they asked themselves, what is the distinctive about their club and what they could do to remain relevant? This comprehensive process refreshed the vision, mission, and value proposition of the Rotary Club of Edmonton Glenora. Starting out in the laundromat, the annual community Thanksgiving luncheon feeds up to 1,000 disadvantaged persons each year in the Millwoods area of Edmonton. You know who you are. Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Edmonton Southeast. For over 20 years, a group of Rotarians and friends set off for remote areas of Guatemala, where hundreds and hundreds of patients requiring prescriptions for glasses, medicines, for infections and surgery are cared for by the Rotary Club of Edmonton West. One, then another, and then several more. Ambulances, that is. Ambulances were donated to Belize, Uganda, and Ghana. More recently, medical equipment and fire trucks were donated too. And this wonderful project is the fine work of the Rotary Club of Edmonton Riverview. Rotarians helping the students at Abbott School make flutes has been happening for several years now, providing grade 5 and 6 students with the gift of playing a musical instrument, developing a skill, and achieving success in learning social graces is the work of Edmonton Northeast. So somebody else has to take the picture. Alberta's Future Leaders Program promotes leadership, cultural awareness, and empowers youth to create meaningful, positive experiences. Driftpile Cree Nation benefited from this program through a donation by the Rotary Club of Edmonton South. Some music. So now we have an other awards category. You know, we have a large district, and there are many tasks that need attention throughout the year. And tonight I want to take a few minutes to the people that work behind the scenes. They're kind of those unsung heroes. Each one of these individuals will be receiving a Paul Harris pin. Now, for those of you who don't know, Paul Harris, when you receive a pin, $1,000 have been donated to the Rotary Foundation, or 1,000 points. When you hear your name, I'd like you to come forward. I'd like you to stay on stage, and then at one point, everyone will receive their pins. Someone who has, for the last 6 years, accepted the responsibility of attending meetings, keeping accurate minutes, and generally taking care of business, including chairing the business meetings at our special General Assembly. Our appreciation to District Board Secretary Carl Clayton. Throughout the years, from time to time, certain challenges challenges arise, and at times, a legal opinion or services of a solicitor are required. During these past many years, this individual has provided free service on legal matters, resulting in a savings of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to our district. You know what lawyers charge, right? Since he is now officially retired, he tells me that he can only offer an opinion, not legal advice. We want to say a big thank you to Rob Dunseth. Who has moved offices or houses lately? Raise your hand. It's got to be a few of you. Nobody's moved lately? Oh, I see one person. 2 people. Well, you know that when you move, there's always an immense task that can be and has to be taken care of. Well, the district office was in the Big Boys and Girls Club for 16 years. So you can imagine. When someone came up there and started measuring office space, we knew that it was time to look for another place. And with the help of some of Rotarians, we located a space in the Orange Hub. We want to acknowledge someone who was instrumental in helping the office staff in this move. And in addition, is also on call whenever there's a need for technical assistance or generally other items that need to be taken care of. Our thanks goes to John Nickel. Now, there's one matter that has become clear this governor year to me, and that is the behind-the-scenes service of one of our directors. Of course, I appreciate all the work of our directors, but there is one that does a lot of extra work behind the scenes, and this office move required many hours and days of preparation and planning. I know we had extra help on the actual day, but the majority of the planning and the support rested on the shoulders, on the plate of our administration chair, someone who always has a ready smile, positive attitude, and likes to do things properly. Our appreciation goes to Donna Nickel, and she doesn't know it.
That's even you here. Who's this Paul Harris?
You know, Rotary International has adapted to our rapidly changing society by providing flexibility in meeting times and club structures. Across the Rotary world, we are encouraged to embrace new ideas and ways of serving our clubs. The position of club president is a key role in our district, and of course around the world. To commit to leading a club with club meetings, board of directors meetings, and district events, it requires dedication and time commitment. When you are a parent of a young family and in the midst of your career, it is an exceptional individual who steps up to serve in that capacity. I want to acknowledge and support the innovative co-president role. I realize we've had some co-presidents in the past, but I want to recognize 2 young presidents who have taken the co-presidency to a whole new level. They have led their club in strategic planning that has confirmed the mission of their club, and they provided a clear path forward, all the while raising young children and in the midst of their careers. Please join me in congratulating The co-presidents of Edmonton Glenora, Jolene Lakewood and Alyssa Honholter.
This way. Okay, thank you.
I have to tell you, both those ladies were out of town on business, and we sent an email, and then I sent a couple of texts and made a phone call. And Jolene came straight from the airport, and Alyssa had to change her flight to get home in time, and I'm certainly glad they did. Good. I received a letter from the North American Youth Exchange Network congratulating our district for our wonderful youth exchange program. And in that letter it says that our district is being recognized as one of those that participate enthusiastically, conduct activities that are best practices, and strive to build a strong program. And recognition is given to the Youth Exchange Committee for their leadership and respect to the program that is a role model for other districts. I'd like Tamara, our youth chair, to come forward. We have a new award this year, a Peace Builder Award. It's my pleasure to acknowledge a club that has been involved in the development and promotion of peace-building activities with high school students in their community. The club president accompanied a group of 17 students to the Canadian Museum of Human Rights along with our youth chair to participate in a week-long national pilot program. Please join me in congratulating President Michelle Rolls from the Dawson Creek Sunrise. To recognize this next individual, we found out that he'd had so many awards that some of them could only be presented once. Most foundation chairs serve a 3-year term. I persuaded this individual to serve an extra year. He's provided exemplary service and leadership as chair, ensuring that our district meets and exceeds the RI requirements foundation work. Our Rotary Foundation Service Award goes to Wayne Kaufman. We are proud of our Rotarians in our district. Tonight I would like to acknowledge 2 individuals who have given outstanding service to our district in many roles over these last many years. Both individuals have served as district governors. They've been a mentor to many of our leaders and have not gone into retirement from Rotary. They have continued to be active supporters of our district programs and events, serving on the board and on several committees. In addition to their exemplary service to our district, they have both served at the zone level in a role such as a zone coordinator. That individual actually works with 16 or 17 other districts across our country. Please help me thank and congratulate past District Governor Linda Robertson and past District Governor Jackie Hopel. And now Linda is going to present a special award.
We have a lot of moving parts up here. Well, I am so excited to be able to present the Polio Plus Pioneer Award. This is an award that was given for a few years, way back in the early 90s, and then was discontinued and brought back in 2017. It's a very special award for exemplary service, and it's an award on service for polio, not for financial contribution, although that may be the case as well. The award is chosen by the trustees of the Rotary Foundation, and I saw the minutes of the 2019 January trustee minutes this week, and in there are the names of Albert Miller and Walter Zeppel. Like, how cool is that, to be in the minutes of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation? And the work that Albert and Walter did was done in the late 1980s. And I'm going to tell you about the project that they were involved with and why they received this award. And believe it or not, what they did was written up in the Rotarian in 1988, and you can dig and dig online and you can actually find it and read all about it. And it's also in a book. It's also in this book that was produced by Rotary International. It's the first volume of Making the Promise, and it talks about the early years of what happened in Polio Plus. And the project that they are involved with is in this book. So what it was a wagon train. And this wagon train was an idea that came out of the Westlock Club. And at the time, Walter was new to the club. He joined the Westlock Club in '86, and he'd always wanted, according to the old Rotarian, he always wanted to drive horses across Canada. Well, when he heard that the club was thinking about going from Westlock to Calgary to the district conference, he said he wanted to be the master of the wagon train. So he got that job, and they put together this wagon train. And Albert, of course, was a farmer, and he knew all about how to get everything to help organize this. So he worked on this too. They had a whole team of as you can see, 2 wagons, and a lot of organization, outriders. There had to be cooks, because they went from Westlock to Calgary and stopped all along the way at Rotary clubs and community halls and schools. And while they did that, they got pledges of $1 million Canadian. We're talking 1987. This was in 1987, and Walter brought in tonight a photograph of he on the front page of the Calgary Sun when they finally got there. And in in this booklet, it talks about all the newspapers across Western Canada that spoke about Polio Plus and why it was such a huge story. And behind that second wagon, if you can see it, you can just see the beginnings of a motorhome. And in that motorhome is Albert Miller and Florence. And they helped make the food and do all the logistics. And then behind that motorhome is an iron lung. You can't see this photograph very well, but it was pulled on a flatbed, and if you can look through the plexiglass that's on there, there's an actual iron lung. That iron lung has been refurbished, and I saw it in Olds not 6 weeks ago. So it's still used, and it promotes polio. Now, when we talk about going to Calgary to the district conference, some of you might wonder, like, what's that about? Well, when these guys did this, we only had one district, and it was called 536. At the time, there were 57 clubs, the same as we have in our district now. And back in those years, of course, it was all of our district, right up into Yellowknife, and all of southern Alberta into southern Saskatchewan. So that's the reason that this was such an important event, raising all that money. The other aspect of this is in those days, there was no fundraising going on. This happened in '87. There wasn't a lot of fundraising, but it was to raise the awareness and the pledges. And that wagon train not only had to go all the way to Calgary, it had to come all the way back. And I'm sure that Albert and Walter have lots and lots of stories about that trip. So a little bit about Walter. Again, it was his dream to drive this wagon train, and we thank him for all of his efforts. He has received many, many awards, even a Canadian award for volunteerism from the Governor General, and he's also known for Team Time. He started Team Time and is still a Rotarian. He first joined the Mayfield Club, moved to the Westlock Club in 1986, and then he was part of the chartering of the Morinville Club, and he is still a Rotarian today, an honorary Rotarian in the Morinville Club. So congratulations to you, and we're going to have, I'm going to say a little bit about Albert, and then I'm going to ask my two helpers to present the awards to you. Now, Albert became district governor in 1989-90. Is that correct? Because I have two dates, 1989-90. And if you have looked at your program, those of you that read the back of the program, it says that Albert joined Rotary in '50. Well, that's not true. He's actually been in Rotary for 50 years, but he didn't join in 1950. He's been a Rotarian for over 50 years, a charter member of the Westlaw Club, two-time president, and district governor. So he was on this wagon train, and of course he was district governor-elect and district governor during those early years of raising this money, and as well as the Polio Plus that took place in our district. There was a cookbook. 100,000 copies of that cookbook were done. Some in this room will be in that cookbook. I know you are. And that cookbook also raised $1 million. That's where polio started. And our district at that time was one of the world's largest contributors to Polio Plus. And because of all that you two men have done for the early start, the Pioneer Award has been awarded to you by the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. So congratulations. And I'd now like to ask Wayne Kaufman to come forward and Ingrid to come forward. Walter says he would prefer to stay at the table to receive his award. And Albert, you need to come up here to receive your award.
I feel very honored to be recognized for this award. Wally, you did it everything. Thank you again.
And now I'd like to turn the podium back to District Governor Ingrid.
So many special recognitions and celebrations tonight. Now for our last awards of the evening. Amidst all the submissions, one stood out as amazing. The inspiration for this project came from the Future Vision program of Rotary International, which compelled Rotarians to find and invest in large projects where the need was great. Beginning in 2013, the South Belize City Literacy Development Program transformed education and school community infrastructure in this impoverished area. With a budget of $89,000 and 4,200 children benefited in 16 schools. This project truly represents this year's theme, Be the Inspiration. So the congratulations for the Governor's Award to the Rotary Club of Edmonton. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by talented, committed, and supportive leaders. There is a special award presented by the serving district governor to one individual in appreciation and recognition of service, loyalty, and commitment to the ideals of Rotary. The individual that I've chosen to receive this special award is someone who has committed the last 3 years to serving and working in important roles in our district, culminating in a special event this year. Someone who has served as a club president, club foundation chair, assistant governor, and district conference chair. An individual that has many talents, travels a lot, happens to be missing from the room at the moment. Someone's gone to get him. So I don't want to announce the name until we actually see him. I want to really say how much we appreciate all of you being here and your good spirits. I love the energy in the room. And you know, it's been a fabulous year. I could tell a few jokes, but I'm not very good at joke telling, actually. So, you know, pardon?
Tell us more about
The flamingo. Well, I think Jackie explained that really quite well. And I have to say, I didn't notice until just a few minutes ago, you have flamingos on all the tables, which is really cute. It was really a leadership analogy that Barry had used, and he referred to it often in some of our meetings and our different events that we had in Rotary. There seemed to be a lot of people going to award recipients. So, you know, I think what we'll do is we'll just, yeah, I think we're going to have somebody come in and pick it up for him. So our Rotarian of the Year goes to Spencer Mula. Funny, a little unexpected, but you know, that's all right. We know what to do. So now, oh, just a minute, it's Carl's turn.
So, thanks very much. Normally, when I get to be at this mic, it's to do with this special general meeting or their annual general meeting, and it has to be all business. I was asked to be here to make a presentation from the board, gift, and what I was told was a roast. And so I have lots of really good stories, but unfortunately I've read the agenda and determined that it's a toast, not a roast. So anyway, you all heard, we all know that Ingrid, of course, is an educator, and you all remember, having gone to school, that educators are used to being in charge, having things go their way. They start off every year with high expectations of their little flock, the board. There's some disappointments along the way, there's some successes. Of course, with this board, as you... This was one of the successes. So, and as you know, there have been a number of board members honored here tonight. Some are graduating and moving on to new roles within Rotary. Unfortunately, Ingrid, many of us are staying behind. Some of us, like myself, are in for their 7th year, and I do promise that I eventually will graduate from my current role on the board to something more important. Anyway, we have a couple of gifts for Ingrid. As you know, and part of her presentation was that Ingrid was very enthusiastic about becoming a Peace Builder district. So we've got some roses for her, and they're not just any roses. These were in 1976 or something like that. The actual email said 9,076 or something. Anyway, we're voted the world's favorite rose by the Federation of Rose Societies. They were launched, this particular rose, to commemorate the end of the Second World War and commemorate what people want, what the world wants, peace. I think we're very appropriate for Ingrid and her efforts towards Peace Builder. The second item, which I'm sure your loving husband will appreciate, is a gift certificate for dinner. And so I'd like to pass them on to you as well, and hopefully you will enjoy that. And, with that, I would like to propose a toast from the board, and of course the rest of the membership, to about to become past District Governor Ingrid. for a wonderful year. Thank you very much for everything you've done.
There's one more presentation to Ingrid, and her partner Claude has a special gift for Ingrid.
So I think that our Rotarian of the Year decided to come back, and we're just going to ask him to come up for a minute, and we'd like to take a photo. And now we need to call up, we're going to move into our next year and the wonderful things that are going to happen. So we need to have the exchange of the banners. If we would have Annie, and I believe it is Jerry, come forward so we can do the exchange of the banners. And now we are going to have the pinning ceremony, which is a ceremony that we honor. And we have the governor team, sometimes fondly known as the G-string. We'd like them to come up, please. So we need Tracey, we need Jim, and we need Donna. So we'll start with the nominee. So Jim will present his pin to Donna, who will now become the district governor nominee.
Dairy man.
Tracey will now give her district governor-elect pin to Jim Ferguson. And it is my great pleasure to give a district governor pin to our incoming governor, Tracey Vavrek.
I'd now like to call on Tim Shields, past District Governor, and incoming Foundation Chair for the next 3 years, to introduce our incoming District Governor.
Thank you very much, Linda. Before I get started, I would just like to ask Owen and Tamara to please stand up for a second.
Say it with a smile.
So I can say congratulations on your 10th anniversary today. And I know from Owen's side it's 10 years of wedded bliss, correct? It is my great honor this evening to be able to introduce a very, very good friend of mine. And I found it a bit interesting when Jackie was doing her introduction that she mentioned that we had talked about Ingrid coming in as part of the team. Well, the very first time that I got to meet Tracey was when Jackie asked me to be a trainer, because we trained people back then. Now we just help them learn. In 2009 in Grand Prairie. And one of her incoming presidents was none other than Tracey Vavrek. And that was my first opportunity to meet Tracey. I later got to work with her when she was assistant governor. She was an assistant governor for me when I was district governor. And she was president of a Grand Prairie club in 2010, 2011, assistant governor for 3 years ending in 2016, 17. She is currently a member of the Rotary Club of Grand Prairie after 5. That's all the boring stuff. Tracey is CEO of the Northwest Community Foundation in Grand Prairie. And I have been lucky enough, Sally and I have been lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Tracey over the last 4 or 5 years and learn about how she does her job and how she supports her community and builds her community. One of the things that I've always believed is that the district governor's role, the most important role for the district governor, is to support the clubs in the district and make sure that they are taken care of and they can be the best that they can be. I can think of nobody better than Tracey Vavrek to take on that role. I've watched her caring and supportive attitude over the last several years, and she truly does want to bring out the best in everyone. When we were in Hamburg at the International Convention, one of the definitions of a great leader is someone that is very willing to promote another person beyond themselves. They don't have to be the best. And in my opinion, that is Tracey. She is very much that person that cares so much and promotes so much and tries to get the best out of everyone, that I think we are going to have a truly wonderful year with her as our leader. She gets to do this with a little bit of a support team. I'm not going to introduce them all because I was told that my buddy St. Vincent, she gets to introduce. But we have a few people that are very important in her life here right now, and you're going to have to look down. I'm not sure she can stand tall enough. But the most important person in the room, I have learned, is young Olivia, who told us she just had a birthday, so she's 4. And she's going to have a whole bunch more birthdays. We learned that tonight, right, Olivia? And Olivia's mom is Becky, is here with us as well. She came up from Cochrane. Had to remember which C name it was. Unfortunately, Tracey's son Justin couldn't make it, but we have the best looking part of the crew anyway. And another very important person in Tracey's life, besides me, is Hilda. And Hilda has been a mother figure for Tracey for years, and we're very happy that you could make it here tonight. So I could stand up here and speak for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to, because it's far more important for Tracey. Far more important for Tracey to be here. Just wait, Jim. I noticed you clapped first. My great honor to bring Tracey Vavrek, our District Governor 2019-20.
Thank you. First, Tim, thank you. You have stood beside me for many years. You've partnered with me. You've mentored me. And you've believed in me. And you've given me friendship. You've given me care and love. And thank you. Oh, boy. I was doing really good. I do speak quite a bit for a living, but good evening, friends. It is an absolute honor to have each of you with us here this evening. We heard some amazing stories, and we've seen some amazing results tonight with the awards and the gifts and the recognition of the tremendous leaders and members that we have within our district. Thank you. Ingrid, I've got big shoes to fill, and I'm a lot taller than you. Ingrid, thank you for your leadership, your guidance, your mentorship, your support, all the conversations, the chatter, now going forward. This is things to look at. I can't tell you, it's been endless. But I've always felt you were beside me every step of the way, and I thank you for that. And I know that the district is stronger as a result of your leadership and what you've given to each of us here. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our past leadership team members from our past district governors, area governors, district board chairs, committee members. You've built the foundation of what our district stands on today. Thank you. Linda, earlier you asked our future board to stand, but I'm going to ask them to stand again. Carl, Alexis, Yvonne, Tamara, can I please have our future board stand? I'd also ask our area governors to join our board. Area governors, can you stand as well? There's many in the room. I thank you to each of you, all of you as leaders, as directors, as support. You're giving the most precious gift ever, and that's your gift of time. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Rainey. Rainey, thank you. Big wave, Rainey. Yeah. Rainey has our office managers behind us every step of the way as well, and she was been a key person to help me to be successful and be here today. And I know we're going to be joined at the hip, so we're good to go. So it's an honor to stand before you as your governor for 2019-20. I'm humbled to step into the shoes of Ingrid and to others that have passed prior to us and held this position. I also appreciate the support of each of you in this Rotary journey. You have stepped up to make our communities a better place. As we heard today, we tackle problems and we do it together. And we find solutions for tough issues. We explore ideas and we share a vision to make life better for others. It is our passion, your passion that comes from your heart and your drive and desire that makes a difference, that inspires me. And I'm so proud to be a Rotarian, stepping step by step beside each of you. We couldn't do everything alone. When you think of the impact of Rotary and all the projects, all the support we do locally and globally, but we do it together, we're a team. But so, why Rotary? Why did we all pick Rotary? Well, we know that people identify Rotary for our service, our dedication to make change to others, and for our commitment to eradicate polio. We are perceived as a networking organization where people can grow their business. And when people of all ages, culture, and demographics invest time and money into something, it's with organizations that do good in the world. People commit to a cause, but they do not commit to an organization. People have choices today, and we hear about it all the time through social media, news, etc. So why do people choose Rotary? Well, we know that service groups across the world are truly at a crossroad. Today we see some clubs continuing to operate with historic structure. We also hear from community citizens that maybe Rotary is the only way in is by special invitation to become a Rotarian. Well, today Rotary is 114 years of age and has stood the test of time. And why? Because of our values, our objects, and our commitment to serve both locally and globally. Plus, as we noted today, Linda, with our awards, for our immense dedication to polio. Rotary International has adapted. We've seen changes, and they've adapted to the test of time. Now, an organization that was founded in 1888 was Kodak. Now, Kodak was the absolute leader, as we all know, in photography. They made photography and film processing easy. They were the leaders. And I think John can attest to this too as well, what Kodak was about. They ensured that film processing was easier, it was more affordable. And how many in the room have heard about the tagline of the Kodak moment? Mm-hmm. So then in 1976, Kodak had 85% of the market. That's significant. That's in the market in cameras and 90% in the market in the shares of film. In 2005, the net income started to decline significantly. So what happened? Well, your first thought is digital cameras. Does that come to mind? They did, John. They invented the digital camera. But it was more complicated than just inventing it. They actually received the patent for the digital camera as well in '78. And then during the 90s, the digital cameras were on the rise. Is there anyone in the room that does not have a digital camera? No. And Kodak, they didn't ignore them. They continued on, and they were selling digital cameras at this time. But then the declines started to occur in 2005, and they ended up filing for bankruptcy protection in 2012. So the conclusion is that what happened with Kodak was that it wasn't that they didn't focus on their work and on photography, but they didn't focus on digital cameras. They didn't focus enough on digital cameras. They had them, but they didn't give them their full attention. So now let's think about Rotary. I asked why Rotary. Again, our movement is 114 years of age, and we're built on tremendous service, passion, we're built on membership, and each Rotarian represents the power of Rotary. And Rotary International is recognized and respected around the world for being great. And as Jim Collins has referenced in his book, Good to Great, strategy is good, but culture is great. Culture is the experience of you and I and each person in Rotary. For Rotary to stay relevant, we at the club and the district level must focus on our culture and adapting to the needs of our members. The number one reason that Kodak failed after being in existence for 124 years is they neglected their community culture of being the leading edge of photography. They focused on doing the same old thing. Culture is how we feel. It's how you and I feel when we're part of something that's important to us. Culture is created and is the base of moving from good to great. Don't we all desire to move from good to great? Well, culture is also the environment of welcoming, inclusiveness, diversity, where people feel that strong sense of belonging and they feel valued. And it's also the place that is built and we build trust. We serve together in many ways for the common goal. We truly desire to make a difference for others, and when we do this, we build relationships and we connect with people of like interests. Basic human beings' needs are the same for everyone. Food, air, water, shelter, clothing, and belonging are essential. Many of you have heard me refer to friends, family. Well, Rotary is family, and Rotary is built on relationships. Relationships, though, are built at the speed of trust. So when you reflect on the theme that Rotary International President Mark Maloney of Rotary Connects the World, what comes to your mind? What do you think about? How do you connect with Rotary, and how does Rotary connect you with the world? Well, for me, it's the shared values that we have, and that we follow the four-way test, and that we are collectively taking action for a better world. And we're doing this together. We are family. We connect with friends that we may not have otherwise met, and Rotary connects us to people who need our help. And through Rotary, we are connected globally through countless projects and programs. And as the slide Ingrid had pulled up earlier with the work we do internationally, we are truly connected. We're also connected through the Rotary pin that we each wear proudly. And I encourage you to wear your pin every day. So the world needs Rotary. You've met Olivia. Olivia needs Rotary. Right, Olivia? Yeah. I got a handshake. So as you reflect on the unrest and the challenges in the world, it is concerning. And we know that the work we do and our service does create peace within our families, within other families, within communities, and we know we're creating peace around the world. I'd like to share with you a story from our Grand Prairie Rotary Food Bank Drive. We gather hundreds of people in our community from our cadet program, our football clubs, our hockey teams, corporations, and hundreds of members come together to help to collect food on one day in September to help to ensure that people in our community have food in their belly so they can be successful in their lives. Well, a Rotarian came across a certain house and had knocked on the door to collect food and asked for food donations. And when the lady answered the door, both of her wrists were bandaged. The Rotarian asked, "So what happened? Are you okay?" And she replied, she had tried to commit suicide the night before. And the food bank drive reminded her that there were other people with much less fortunate than her. and this stopped her from trying again. We have no idea who we touch, how we connect, and the impact that we make. We touch people we'll never meet. But Rotary provides us with the means and the opportunities to connect with the world and each other. Now imagine if we did not have Rotary. Imagine what would happen to polio if we stopped now. Imagine the people that would go hungry in our communities or around the world. Imagine the children who would not have the extra support to reach their dreams or to learn to read. The children of today and of tomorrow need Rotary, and I'm honored to say we've made a promise and we're going to keep it. So my personal ask to you is to look at how can you ensure Rotary is relevant and is inviting and inclusive and creates a strong sense of belonging for you and for others. And Rotary has given us the tools to be successful. And as we continue to hear from Rotary International, we have flexibility. We have opportunities. We can do things differently, hold different style meetings, meeting structures, or times of meetings, or the numbers of meetings. And we're encouraged to invite our friends, our families, all to be part of our Rotary journey. So when you see the difference we've made for children like Olivia, or maybe children in your family, or children around the world, and for families and communities, all by our commitment, we know we have changed lives. We've made a difference. We have given others opportunities, and most of all, we have given others hope. And that's Rotary. Rotary is people of action. People of action who come together to make positive change. We see the change within ourselves, and we see the change around the world. So I personally invite you to join us for the District 5370 Conference in Grand Prairie, People of Action Conference, October 3rd to 5th. Register today, Jerry can help you. So this is your conference. It is your district conference. And it's your place to connect, to grow, and to be inspired. I'm honored to serve alongside of each of you. And who is serving alongside myself is my husband, Vince. Vince, can you wave? Yes. July 1st is a very significant day for our family. It's a very special day. As you are aware, we start our Rotary District Governor journey, and we'll be heading up to Yellowknife as our first community that we'll be driving up to. It is also the day of my husband's first day of retirement. And he has a new appointment. Yes, Clive God. Yes, governor's official driver. But I've also heard the term when we get in the car and we're in the car for too long, it could be dog, driver of governor. I'm going to stick to God though. He's yes. And it's also our wedding anniversary. So I'm honored to share this journey with my husband, my soulmate, my partner, who is a very dedicated Rotarian. He's also completing his term as president of the Grand Prairie After 5 Club. We together, I'm going to be truthful in my heart, I think we're pretty awesome and great together. Our Rotary passion just oozes from both of us. So we have a new vehicle that you'll see parked outside, and that vehicle is called Amelia Kindheart. Amelia is my grandmother's name, who raised me. And she gave me guidance and structure and values. And Amelia means journey and adventurous. So I'm honored to have Amelia. Kind, because each of us, kindness is important. Kindness is what builds who we are and what we can offer others. And heart, the heart of love, because we share love within each other, our clubs, our communities. So Amelia Kindheart, please follow her on social media. I'm honored to serve with you, to work on meaningful projects together, to come and get to know each of you in your clubs, to hear your stories, to learn more about your projects and why you do them, to meet your community. I want to get to know you and your community. What's important to you? What are your values? What are you passionate about? And we are going to expand Rotary. We're going to grow Rotary together. We've seen significant growth in our district in the last little bit. Thank you, Ingrid, and everyone for their contribution to help our clubs and our district grow. But we have more to do. We need to leave more Rotary footprints, and we're going to do this together. We're going to help ensure that instead of at 99.97% cases of polio, that we bring that number down to 0, and we're going to do it together. We all have one goal and dream, and that's to build a better world. We are united and we are connected. We're connected as Rotarians, as friends, as family. So let's do this. Let's be people of action. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracey, for those words of passion, and we can all feel the love that you have for Rotary, and we know that we will have a wonderful year under your leadership. She mentioned during her final remarks that we are people of action, and Rotary does great things. I'm going back to Albert and Walter as I close. When Rotary started the polio campaign back in 1985, it was thought we would never, ever begin to eradicate polio from the world. And because of what was started then, and the work they did, and the work that Rotarians have continued to do, there are 14 million people that were born since those days that are walking today and not paralyzed. So when you look at the power of Rotary, the things that we can do, and that's just one area, all the actions that can take place in our communities and in the global community, and even within our homes, within our schools. There's lots to do, and we have this wonderful team in our district to do it. And I have to tell you that we are a leading team, a leading district in this country, and those others in this room that have worked beyond the district know that, and we've had lots of compliments from Rotary International about how do you do it in your district. So congratulations to you all, congratulations to those who planned this evening, and thank you for being here, thank you Rotarians, and thank you guests.
Just bring